welcome to the first ever episode of International Freeways, where today we're going to be talking about the land down under, Australia. Australia has a freeway system primarily along the east coast, which connects all of its major population centers together. Perth and Adelaide also have freeway systems, but they're just disconnected from the main one along the east coast, so I won't really be talking much about them. Australian freeways are labeled under M, which stands for motorway, in case you didn't know. However, there isn't actually a system of M highways in Australia. Let me explain. This is a map of Highway 1. In Adelaide, the M1 runs from the city to Murray Bridge, where it ends. However, there's also another disconnected stretch of M1 between Mo and Traralgon. There's also the A1 stretch which runs through Townsville that are related to the M1 in any way. Believe it or not, yes, they're all related to each other. You see, in America, there's federal highways and interstates, which means there could be a US State Route 5 and an Interstate 5, completely unrelated from each other. However, if we were to use Australia sounding logic in the US, here's how it would work. So, here we are in Colorado Springs, in Colorado. Here's Interstate 25. However, US State Route 24 in Colorado Springs is also a freeway. So now US State Route 24 is now Interstate 24. You see what I mean? And when it's not a freeway, it's just kind of US State Route 24, kind of like a promotion relegation, but for freeways, if you know what I mean. So for motorways, it's signed with an M, but just for normal highways, it's signed with an A. Some of the most used stretches of motorway is the M1 between Gympie and Sydney, and the M31 between Melbourne and Sydney, which together, they kind of form the Interstate 95 of Australia. That's the term I just came up with, and I hope it catches on. Both are extremely busy and at times can get congested. A few other main highways include the M23, which is the only freeway connecting to Australia's capital, Canberra, and the M4, which runs east-west through Sydney. And finally, we're going to be talking about the Tasmania and its freeways. Tasmania, at least from what I can see, does not use the traditional M signage. Instead, they just rock numbers. Highway 1 also appears to do this weird thing in Launceston, where it goes into the downtown before making a U-turn and going back down the way it just came from. Let me know if this is true or not. Then in Hobart, they choose not to sign their highways as motorways, even though they are motorways. Kind of weird. For example, the A6 in Hobart could be the M6, or the A3 could be the M3. Let's move on to some statistics for Aussie motorways. So for length, I could not actually find a single statistic on how long the motorway system was, but my very quick measuring, I did it in about 2 minutes by the way, it came up with just over 2,400 kilometers. However, it's probably not anywhere close to being correct. The motorways carry somewhere over 500,000 cars daily. Again, that may also not be correct because there's not much information on Australian motorways. It's just all on Australian Highway 1, which I don't want to know about. Also, interestingly, almost 90% of Australia's freeways are along this narrow corridor, which may seem obvious, but there's also big cities outside of this corridor, like Darwin, Perth, Adelaide, Townsville, and Hobart, which combine for a population of over 4 million people, or about the population of 2 New Mexicos, which is kind of interesting if you ask me. Anyway, that's gonna wrap up the video. What country should I review next? And if you got any feedback on the series, please share it with me. And of course, if you enjoyed, subscribe. And for now, bye guys.